Okay, I think we can start now.
Yes.
So let me officially welcome you all. Thank you for joining us. And as you're all aware, we're trying to celebrate NGO Day, which is on the 27th of February. We were trying to have a 3-day celebration for that. So today we have all of you as on our panel. Tomorrow we have a youth group, which I think you all should attend with us. And then it's the 27th, the NGO Day. So one of the reasons we decided to do this was because all our partners at aidbees are NGOs, and we wanted to do something special. And also at aidbees, we felt that it's time that we started recognizing NGOs. I mean, there is a lot of talk on NGOs, their work, what happens, what doesn't happen, but really, does anybody hear about NGOs? Does people get to hear what NGOs have to say about themselves and their work? So that was essentially our aim. We have almost 30 partners now, out of which we've taken 6 today. It's nothing, it's just that, we could not have 30. We would have loved to have all 30, but then, of course, it wouldn't have been productive. So over the year, over the time, we are going to have most of our partners come in at different times and speak to us and speak with our viewers. But today we'll be with the 6 of you. Unfortunately, one partner may join us a little later. I'm hoping they can. They've had some medical emergency, and because of which hopefully they're still not dropped out. They've said about 15 minutes. So let me introduce first myself. I'm Zamruda. Most of you know me. I am heading aidbees, the world's first social kindness platform, as we call it. Oh, okay, great. So Tanya is here. Tanya, welcome. Great to have you on, Tanya.
Hi.
I hope all's well at your end.
Hello.
So. Yeah, it's should be okay, I think.
Okay. So Tanya, you've come in at the right moment. I was just introducing myself, and then I'm going to ask everybody to introduce themselves. Just a quick introduction of you, your organization, and maybe 2-3 lines of what the organization does and how long has the organization been working, so that our viewers who are here can get to know exactly how long the organization has been doing the amazing work that you guys are doing. I'm just going to start randomly on as how I see people on the screen. I'm just going to call out for introductions. So first it's Mr. Kalpesh, then Mr. Anthony, Deepa, Nihal, Shweta, and Tanya will give you a breather and keep you in the end.
No worries, no
Okay.
worries.
Yeah.
Great.
So Mr. Kalpesh, would you like to go first?
Yeah, sure. So our organization has been formed and officially registered in year 2014. And ever since we have been doing for the upliftment of the rural communities. We are working with over 22 rural schools in Maharashtra, in the rural areas of Maharashtra, like Khopoli, Raigad district, Atone villages, and Roha village near Maharashtra. So these are the schools, 22 schools, what we are working for. And we have been supporting them into the digital implementation and the nutrition guidance, for which the organizations like Nestle and a couple of more organizations are supporting for the kids who are not who are physically weak, to help them with the nutritional food and the proper diet for them. So we are working for the upliftment of the rural communities as well. So we have been doing this for the people, also for the skill development of the people who are jobless. So these are the couple of sectors what we are working out for the skill development, the nutritional guidance, and the digital infrastructure upgrade. So these are the 3 variants what our organization is working right now. Yeah, I cannot.
Sorry, I'm on mute. Sorry.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Kalpesh, I think we didn't get the name. So it's Human Welfare.
Yeah, it's HWCT India Human Welfare Charitable Trust. Yes.
And one very interesting thing which I want to bring up about Mr. Kalpesh is that he is himself an entrepreneur who has moved into social work. So it would be great if you could give us a bit of that. How did that take place?
So basically, I have been an exporter, and that work is still continued. But my majority is everyone wants to do something what satisfies you the most. I mean, we keep on working the whole life around, but at some point of time, you realize that no, that you have to do something what really pleases yourself. I mean, this is what I realized is much sooner, I would say that. So, and my mom, she was a very, unfortunately, she passed away 2 years back, but she was a social worker and she had been doing her charitable activities. She was a doctor. And so that was always in our blood that we wanted to do something for the communities and for the very poor people. So initially we started helping out the people into our communities, but then a couple of years, then we molded into like where the maximum efforts can be done to really eliminate the weakest sector of our society. I mean, so this is what we thought, that if we focus on to the children who are going to be our future tomorrow, so if their upbringing is in a better way, it is going to have a long-term impact. So this is how we molded our journey from regular helping to the regular person to start the upliftment of the children's and bringing them with a strong and foundation to help them build a better future.
Great. That's so great. Thank you so much, Mr. Kalpit.
Yeah.
Mr. Anthony.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. I represent an organization called Alert India. I hope you might have heard it. It's the Association for Leprosy Education, Rehabilitation and Treatment, began 42 years ago.
Oh.
I began working for leprosy post for TISS, my post-graduation in welfare administration. Happened to be as a student in a leprosy colony and wanted to work for the cause, and I have continued till today and happy. Now, Alert has grown beyond leprosy to take into last 22 years concentrating on tuberculosis and AIDS. But in tuberculosis, we are mainly concentrating on multi-drug resistant tuberculosis. We work in 2 states, Maharashtra and Jharkhand, and we also work intensively for retrieval of multi-drug resistant cases in 8 corporations in Maharashtra. This is a very wide, big involvement with multiple partners, both state, district, corporation, and other things. And the second involvement is AIDS, mostly concentrating on retroviral drug regularity, follow-up, and intake. This is the second. But our major thrust area is leprosy control, which was Alert was formed, and we have grown over 4 decades with various degrees of leprosy work. The first 2 decades was intensive. The last 2 decades is, as I was explaining, post elimination announcement policy. So these issues we will touch once we are in the discussion. There are many issues we want to pose it for the discussion related to leprosy mainly.
That's great.
Is there
Deepa.
anything you want me to add?
No, we're good. Deepa, if you could take over. Deepa, sorry.
यस सबको जिंदाबाद। मैं अनुभूति सामाजिक संगठन से हूँ और बेसिकली जो हमारा काम है वो ठाणे डिस्ट्रिक्ट में चलता है। कल्याण में हमारा कार्यालय जो है वो ऑफिस है। अनुभूति का जो काम है वो ज्यादा फोकस्ड होता है इक्वल यूथ ग्रासरूट लीडरशिप को लेकर, जहाँ पे हम ये पर्पस के साथ, ये उद्देश्य के साथ काम करते हैं कि जो कम्युनिटी से
दीपा की आवाज नहीं आ रही है। Nice.
यस
दीपा, शायद आपका कनेक्शन Annie, is this
Maybe-
Deepa's
maybe also.
connection?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
ओके
Sorry, Deepa, I
तो तब
think
तक
आप
नेक्स्ट
एक बार फिर
यस
से
यस
नहीं, लेट्स स्टार्ट. आप एक बार फिर से बोलेंगे? आई थिंक बिल्कुल एकदम बिगनिंग में ही आपकी आवाज बंद
ओके,
हो गई.
अभी ऑडिबल है?
हाँ, अभी है.
ओके. तो मैं अनुभूति सामाजिक संगठन से हूँ, और जैसे मैंने कहा कि अनुभूति का जो काम है वो इक्वल ग्रासरूट यूथ लीडरशिप को लेकर चलता है, जहाँ पे कम्युनिटी के अंदर यूथ लेड कम्युनिटी डेवलपमेंट के उद्देश्य से हम काम करते हैं. और आपको पता है कि एनजीओ जो है वो एक बड़े अम्ब्रेला और टाइटल के अंडर जरूर काम करती है, लेकिन कई सारे विषयों को और कई सारे अंगों को लेकर जो है वो काम चलता है. तो युवा और महिलाओं को ध्यान में रखते हुए हमारा सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्टिव राइट हो, खास करके मेंटल जस्टिस एंड मेंटल हेल्थ हो, सेफ यूथ हायर एजुकेशन स्पेसेस हो, लीगल एड का काउंसलिंग हो, फैमिली काउंसलिंग हो, करियर लीडरशिप डेवलपमेंट, ऐसे कई सारे अंगों से जो है वो हमारा काम चलता है. बेसिकली युवाओं से और औरतों से जुड़े हुए जो स्टेक होल्डर है, उनके स्टेक होल्डर सेंसिटाइजेशन का काम, जैसे फिर वो जेंडर इक्वालिटी को लेकर हो, एंटी कास्ट के अप्रोच को लेकर हो, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल और ह्यूमन राइट के पर्सपेक्टिव को लेकर हो, तो कई दायरों में काम चलता है, जहाँ पे युवा और यंग विमेन आने वाले दुनिया की एक कतार अपने हाथ में संभाले, वो कंट्रीब्यूशन दे और वो लीडरशिप के प्लेटफॉर्म पर अपने आप को देखे. तो जहां जहां पे जरूरत है हमें एज एनजीओ कंट्रीब्यूट करने की, इंटेलेक्चुअली रिसोर्स बेस हो, संसाधनों को लेकर हो, वैचारिक लेवल पे हो, या डायरेक्ट सर्विस और अधिकारों के स्तर पर हो, वहां वहां पर हम एनजीओ करके अपना कंट्रीब्यूशन देने के लिए सतत कार्यरत है. थैंक यू.
और ये ऑर्गेनाइजेशन आपने ही शुरू की थी ना, अपने काम
जी
से? जैसे मिस्टर
जी
एंथनी ने कहा उसी प्रकार आपका भी.
जी
और
जी
बहुत बचपन से आपने शुरू किया, आप 14-15
जी.
साल के थे.
यस, मेरा सामाजिक क्षेत्र में अनुभव करीबन 20 साल का है. तो कोइंसिडेंस से कहे या कहे कि मेरा लक था कि करीबन 14 साल की उम्र में अपने फाइनेंशियल क्राइसिस की वजह से, मुझे तब पता नहीं था कि एनजीओ क्या है, लेकिन अपनी पढ़ाई को बरकरार रखने के लिए मुझे इस तरह के कुछ काम की जरूरत थी, जहां पे मैं अपनी पढ़ाई को कंटिन्यू रख सकूं और अपनी पढ़ाई भी पूरी कर सकूं. तो कोइंसिडेंस से मेरा किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के साथ संपर्क हुआ, और तब से लेकर आज तक मैंने कई ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस में काम किए, और 2015 के आसपास मुझे लगा कि मैं जिस कम्युनिटी से आती हूँ, जो नोमैडिक ट्राइब है, जो एक घुमंतु और भटके समुदाय से अपनी पहचान रखने वाली कम्युनिटी है, अगर मेरे जैसी लीडरशिप अगर सामने आती है तो आई एम इथिकली और कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनली रिस्पॉन्सिबल कि हम और ज्यादा जमीन के भी नीचे जिन कम्युनिटी की आवाजें नहीं आती है, जो नोमैडिक ट्राइब है, जो आदिवासी है, जो रूरल स्लम्स है, जो अर्बन स्लम्स है, जो काफी डिप्राइव बैकग्राउंड के यूथ और औरतें हैं, उनके साथ, क्योंकि मेरे अनुभव है वहां पे, मैं और बेहतर काम कर सकती हूँ, और फिर इसीलिए मैंने अनुभूति संगठन की जो शुरुआत है वो की है.
Thank you so much. It's such a great thing you're doing, and especially as it's your personal journey. Another one, I think Nihal has a pretty similar story in terms of his journey with Green Soul. Nihal, over to you.
Hi, so I'm Nehal Jadhav. So I handle the marketing of Green Soul. So we are a social venture that upcycles old footwear to new slippers and then donate them further to the children in need across rural India. So far, we have donated more than 350,000 pairs of upcycled footwear across India. So we are targeting three important aspects. One is being the waste in the landfills, like millions of footwear goes into the landfills each year. So our goal is to reduce that waste by upcycling them into new slippers. Second being lot of people are without footwear in the outskirts of India and the rural side. Many children go to school barefoot, and there are a lot of diseases that can come up with walking barefoot. So through that we provide footwear to them, and the third being the like we have a skill center in Normandy, Jharkhand, where we have employed like 6 women from the rural area of Normandy and taught them how to upcycle footwear, how to use the machinery, and have employed them there. So they do the upcycling part there as well.
ये महाराष्ट्र में, you don't have this in Maharashtra yet,
No, we don't have a
No.
skill center in
In
Maharashtra.
Maharashtra.
Our like office is based in Navi Mumbai, so we operated from there.
Correct. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Shweta,
thank you.
to you.
Hi everyone. So I work with the Humsafar Trust. Humsafar Trust is India's oldest registered LGBTQ plus organization. We've been working on health and human rights for the LGBTQ plus community for over 26 years now. We primarily work on HIV, STI interventions and policy advocacy around the rights, basic human rights of our community. Personally, I have been working on gender justice for almost 13 years, of which 8 years with Humsafar. I'm currently working on an initiative on trans inclusion. Basically inclusion of transgender persons in every walk of life, education, health, public spaces, everywhere basically. So it's called Transcend, and it's one of our most ambitious initiatives right now. That's all probably.
Okay. And has the law made any, has the law made, change in the law made work any easier?
By law, I'm guessing you're talking about the TG Act that
Yes,
has
I
come.
am.
Okay. We have mixed opinion about it. The NALSA judgment that came in 2014 was much more progressive. But now we have this act which we are trying to make the best use of. There are certain very problematic issues with the act. The rape laws are very discriminatory. But there is a lot of scope when it comes to welfare schemes. So we are trying to advocate around that.
That's good to know.
It has got us a lot of visibility. For sure.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
That's good. Miss hi, sorry, Tanya. A little introduction about you and your organization. Tanya, I think you're on mute.
Yep, sorry.
No worries.
Yeah, hi. So I'm Tanya. I work for an NGO called Salam Bala Trust, Delhi, which basically helps with children who run away from home. We've been around for the last 33 years. We were set up in 1986. Our focus area of work is basically children who run away from home, and we have found them near the railway station, bus stops, Old Delhi railway station. And they basically are lurking around at the station, and our team actually goes in to kind of locate these children and try and get them to the shelter homes, or at least to our daycare contact points or daycare centers. It's not easy to just motivate them on that day, on that and that spot, to try and tell them to come. So it takes them a little while. It could take them 10 days or 12 days to actually, want to come to something like this or to be rescued. They feel they are really happy because they get the freedom to just roam around, do what they want. They don't have a structure. But after a point, it does get to them, because most of them are young kids, 10 years upward to about 13, 14. Some, when they are sick or unwell or haven't had food, they are crying, they don't know where to go. So they do eventually, interestingly, we have a little center, like a contact point at the New Delhi railway station, above the police station, interestingly, where they come to just kind of have a look. So when they come and have a look, they kind of see that they do get some medical aid, or they'll get hot meal, and there are staff who kind of cares for them. They come back there and they want to kind of move on from there. As a rule, it is sort of mandate from the government point of view as well that we try and locate their parents wherever they have run away from. It could be the north, it could be south, it could be Bangladesh, wherever. So that is our first priority, is trying to locate their parent. It could take, again, a week, 10 days, 2 months, 6 months, no idea as to how long that can take. So yes, we have been very successful for some children to send them back to their parents. In many occasions, the parent has been found and the child does not want to go back. In that case, again, a very big decision, because a child doesn't want to go back, is only 10, 11 years of age. Very difficult to tell them, that, I mean, how can they not want to go back to their parent? But there must be something wrong. So again, we have the permission that we keep them in our shelter homes. Our shelter homes is more, in brief, I would say, more like a dormitory that we run, a boarding school, wherein every facility for the child is taken care of. From medical to meals to shelter to stay. Education is our prime area of focus. Vocational training later on. Gradually, post 18, making them, getting them out into mainstream and making sure that they, can earn their own livelihood. So,
do they have any rules in terms of staying or leaving? Are there any conditions once they do decide to be part of Salam Balak Trust? Then are they bound by any rules, or is it an open dormitory where they can choose to? Because there are certain facilities which do work on those lines.
Yeah, so it is, and I won't call it a rule, but yes, it is a system that we have in place, that the child who is 10, 11 years of age and does not want to go back to the parent and has the permission with reference to the Child Welfare Board, the CWC Delhi, that yes, we can keep the child. The child does not then go out or walk out and come in at any time. No, we don't do that. So then the child is restricted and stays with us.
There's a structure to all of this.
Absolutely.
And then they have to follow that structure.
Absolutely. Yeah. He has to stay in, into the entire program accordingly. It's very rare that they want to just go out and all, because they know where they are coming
outside,
from. It's not an easy environment there, and they've obviously been through hell. And various reasons. After counseling, we have a huge mental health team in place, and through counseling, they sort of start sharing why they don't want to go back home. So over the years, there are a few really strong points that we have discovered that they don't want to go back. One of them is sexual abuse by their own family. Yeah. So that's one thing that they don't want to go back. Extreme poverty, wherein they have 6, 7 siblings and no meals, food to eat, maybe just one meal a day. Then maybe parents drinking, both mother, father drinking, and then beating them up. So they think it's the best is to pick up their bag and run away. In most cases, that's how it has been. So yeah.
What
so
about
I look after
girls? Does Humsafar Trust even look after? Sorry, Salam Balak look after girls as well, or no?
Yes.
You do girls as well.
So we have girls and boys. We currently have 2 girl shelter homes, and 4 for the boys. Yes, there are girls who are abandoned or have horrifying stories to tell. So we make sure that, again, that they are educated enough so that they can actually get a job, or trained, vocational training, wherever, in whatever area that they kind of dream or dreamt of, and if we can kind of focus in that area, why not? So basically the whole idea is to give them that opportunity that any child will be, does need, or will, goes through that. So yes, so we have both girls and boys.
Thank you all for sharing your work, and it's amazing. I mean, the plethora of work that all of you are doing. Let me take this a little further and get into a little complicated issue, whereas we want to explore what are the issues so we've heard about the work, and of course, as being in the field, we're aware, and currently right now also, but I'm not only looking at COVID. I don't want to make this a COVID discussion, but definitely over the years since you've started to where we are today, what are the issues that NGOs face? And it doesn't have to be particular to your NGO, but it could also be an open thing. We just wanted to bring up that in reality, like, we hear a lot about NGO ye karta hai, wo karta. And there's a whole lot of talk about what happens in NGOs and how work is done and all of that. But I would like to understand from you that what are the issues that you face as an organization? And most of you have been in existence for almost 20 years plus, let me put it like that. So what are the issues you have faced over the years? to come to where you are today, and what is it to be today? I would not want to go into politics for sure, but definitely touch upon the hardships that an organization of your stature, of your size, feels and is going through today. I'm going to open it to anybody, whoever wants to take up. I don't want to go into this one, but let's just have an open discussion, and anybody, please feel free to start.
So I can just give you my thoughts.
Sure. Yeah.
So basically what I think, like what problems, I am just talking about the problems what we face. Like, I mean, number one is the most of the things what any NGOs or any entity runs is mostly the number one is always finance, whether it is a home, whether it is an industry, or whether it is an NGO. So everything, because whatever without finance, you're always stuck. So
Correct.
we although I really thank our supporters and donors who have timely supported us in every nick of time, whether it can be COVID or non-COVID, for supporting the schools. But the most of the issue is the sustainability. I mean, the people who have supported us for some causes, the sustainability to sustain that for a longer time, it always becomes an issue. I mean, for example, we come across the family which is like where they have a very huge malnutrition problems, and then we support them for like 2 months with the food, and then we have to again find out for the donors who can support us for them for the food for 3rd month or 4th month or 5th month. So often we have gone out of budgeted, and then we have to keep focusing our budgets from these areas to the more critical areas.
True.
So the inflow of the funding system really keeps on shuffling every short intervals, and this is one of the major criteria wherein the term for, unless there are quite a few NGOs who have got like a reserve fund which can even pull them up for like 6 to 8 months, but the NGOs like we do not really have so much of resources. So our resources are like, we plan out our resources for like 1 to 2 months time.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
So unless we have to just keep on hunting for the new resources, like people who can support the causes. So technically these are the problems what we face, like sustainability of the donors, or
so finance. So we're saying the budget is the main for
correct. And
organizations.
yeah,
like
and
you.
often the more of the volunteers, I mean, the people who want to contribute to this cause, I mean, reaching them out especially during the COVID times, most of our volunteers, they gave away. I mean, everyone, even we cannot even force them. We could not even force them to come across because there is a COVID situation everywhere. So
Correct.
we were just depending on a couple of the volunteers who still could come forward. Even the community, they came forward to help us out. But yeah, to make this more sustainable, we need more number of trusted hands and a stream of some funding issues to solve those things, to bring in line. I mean, I would say these are our issues.
True. Anybody else with anything other than finance and volunteers, of course, main two pillars.
I would go with exactly what Kalpesh has said. For all NGOs, I think funding / finance is a huge issue in terms of sustaining oneself. Having said that, I think there are also, unfortunately, in India, every second person runs or has an NGO. That's another thing that is difficult for even a donor to shortlist and get to a right NGO which is transparent, or where their funds are not misused. And again, we do have places unheard of situations where funds which have come in from other donors are misused. So there is unfortunately that little black label that we have being an NGO.
Correct.
And yes, there are tough times. I mean, more so it's pushed us further back seat because of COVID as well. There is lack of funds, and also I think in between everybody had kind of the talk was that to get funds for an NGO is now become easier because of the CSR policy in place. initially that was quite an excitement. Okay, there is a CSR policy which is, which is supposed to be in place,
yeah.
and, that thing. But having said that, and having tried to go through the CSR policy to get funds, there were various glitches on the way.
How has it been with the others with CSR funding?
Sorry?
I was just opening it, the CSR funding scenario, to the rest of them.
Yeah. So
has it been
CSR
easy or difficult?
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy at all. So you do have a CSR budget in place for a corporate. So when you actually make the move to go to a corporate with your proposal, it's very well taken in and said that you do great work and we can look into it. But most of the time, we've noticed that the CSR funding actually goes, to something in-house. For, like if there is a corporate organization, invariably they will have their own foundation.
That has come up. That's a trend which has
Correct.
caught on in the last, I would say, 10 odd years, I think. I'm not sure. But yes, corporates have started making foundations.
Exactly. So you've actually approached a really large corporation where there is a lot of money, and they've said that we can support you. But when you're shortlisted and you're like really nearly there, it's, this is the thing that we have, the response that we have got, that unfortunately it's been shortlisted to another NGO. So after a little bit of spade work, one realizes that NGO belongs to their own, to the corporation. So again, not all corporates, but yes, that is one trend that we noticed. There is. The other thing was that the amount we would get was a little bit much smaller. Plus, we were looking at long-term relationships. Like if it was a big corporation, we would look at it for funding for 3 to 5 years, if that's a possibility. But it would always mean like a one-time for now, because the CSR policy in that particular corporation has changed. For instance, you're looking at one corporation who's saying, listen, we are going to fund education. So we put our hands up and say, okay, we've got education as well. They said, okay, fine. This 2021, we are giving you for education. 21 end, you approach again to say, hope we are continuing because our projects are going well thanks to your support. They said, oh, from education, unfortunately, our CSR is now focusing on environment.
True.
So, you do go through these bumps.
True.
And for us to get to that bump is a little discouraging after, because then you're kind of saying, okay, now those 10 lakhs were coming, now where do we run around to get more of the money? So there are these glitches that come on the way for an organization.
Deepa, you're trying to say something?
Yes. तो जैसे बाकी साथी कह रहे हैं कि एनजीओ के सामने जो इश्यूज है, काफी कनेक्ट करती हूँ मैं कल्पेश जी से, कि फाइनेंशियल सस्टेनेबिलिटी को एक डेवलप करना वो तो चैलेंज है. और जब मैं अनुभूति जैसे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के बारे में सोचती हूँ, जो एक काफी ग्राउंड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, ग्रासरूट के पीपल के साथ काम करता है, तो वहां पे सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज मुझे ये लगता है कि लेयर ऑफ जो फाउंडेशंस है या लेयर ऑफ जो एक फंडिंग का सारा एक नेट है, वहां से जाके ग्राउंड में पैसा लाना काफी चैलेंज है, क्योंकि फंडिंग का भी एक मार्केट है, राइट. कई सारे इंस्टीट्यूशंस है, तो डायरेक्ट रीच आउट करना जो है हम जैसे ग्राउंड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को काफी चैलेंज जाता है. काफी अपब्रिंगिंग ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है अनुभूति, तो जो लीगल कॉन्टेक्स्ट होते हैं फंडर्स के, उनको फुलफिल करना कई बार चैलेंज लगता है. कई तरह के सर्टिफिकेट, कई तरह के जो ड्यू डिलीजेंस है, वहां पे हम हर बार जो है वो टैकल कर पाए इसका श्योरिटी नहीं है. हम जिस तरह के काम करते हैं वो राइट बेस है, अधिकारों को लेकर है, तो कई बार लीगल सपोर्ट जो है, मतलब खुद के सस्टेनेबिलिटी के लिए हो या थ्रेटन को डील करने के लिए जो हो, तो वहां पे लीगल सपोर्ट की कई बार हमें जरूरत लगती है, जो होता नहीं है. दूसरा मुझे बहुत ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट लगता है कि फंडिंग जहां से आता है वो प्रोजेक्ट बेस आता है, वो प्रकल्पों को लेकर आता है. तो ऐसे ग्राउंड में काम करते हुए जरूरी नहीं कि हर चीज जो है वो प्रोजेक्ट के दायरे में ही कवर हो. जैसे हमारा काम जो है वो राइट बेस है, लेकिन कई बार मेडिकल को लेकर, एजुकेशन को लेकर इमीडिएट रिलीफ की जो है वो बहुत तेज जरूरत होती है. तो इस तरह का फंडिंग क्रिएट करना एक बर्डन लगता है. तो इसीलिए हम क्राउड फंडिंग के मार्ग अपनाते हैं, ऑनलाइन के मार्ग अपनाते हैं, जहाँ पे हम लोगों को इमीडिएट रिलीफ से जुड़ी हुई भी कुछ चीजों के अंदर जो है वो मदद कर पाए। एफसीआर अमेंडमेंट के बाद खास करके जो एक ग्राउंड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन करके हम है, तो हमें लोगों के साथ एक लूप में जाकर काम करने में काफी दिक्कतें आ रही है। तो बिल्कुल जो हमारे बाकी के साथी कह रहे हैं। दूसरा है कि अपने क्रेडिबिलिटी को प्रूफ करना काफी चैलेंजिंग है अपब्रिंगिंग ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए, क्योंकि हम एस्टेब्लिश्ड नहीं है। सीएसआर के प्रोजेक्ट देखे तो वहां पे भी कई मायने में एक एस्टेब्लिशमेंट का एक अप्रोच है। एक सेटल वे से पहुंचना कुछ लोगों के लिए आसान है और कुछ लोगों के पास वो लैंग्वेज, वो रिसोर्सेस नहीं है, तो वहां पे हम पहुंच ही नहीं पाते हैं। ऑलरेडी जो है वो प्रोजेक्ट, जो बचे कुछ प्रोजेक्ट है वो भी निकल जाते हैं और बाद में हमें पता चलता है कि तो उनके जो ड्यू डिलीजेंस है या उनकी जो नीड है, डिमांड है, एक लीगल क्राइटेरिया है, वहां पे हर समय अपने आप को प्रूफ करना एज अ ब्रिंगिंग ऑर्गेनाइजेशन हमें काफी जो है वो चैलेंजिंग लगता है। और फाइनेंशियल सस्टेनेबिलिटी के साथ एक लीगल सपोर्ट की हमें बार बार जरूरत लगती है। तो अनुभूति काफी नया ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, तो शायद हमारे चैलेंजेस और भी ज्यादा होंगे क्योंकि अभी हम सीख रहे हैं।
श्वेता?
A lot of the challenges that have been mentioned are pretty common for us, but something that stands out जो हमारे लिए काफी ज्यादा हर बार एक मुद्दा बनता है is the visibility of our cause. हम लोग विजिबल ही नहीं है पॉलिसी लैंडस्केप्स में, फंड रेजिंग लैंडस्केप में. The cause is not visible, plus the cause is stigmatized as well to a great extent. Societal attitudes अभी तक हमारा acceptance बहुत कम है. So अगर मैं फंड रेजिंग का पूल भी देखूं ना, तो वो काफी लिमिटेड, वो दायरा ही काफी लिमिटेड हो जाता है. मैं किन कॉर्पोरेट्स के पास जाऊं, मैं किन डोनर्स के पास जाऊं, गवर्नमेंट के किन प्रोग्राम्स में हमारा काम सपोर्टेड होगा. So visibility, generally visibility for our rights and visibility for the programs that we are running to address the very immediate urgent needs, जैसा दीपा ने बोला, दोनों ही के लिए visibility काफी limited है. So that has been our challenge, and I feel कि there are several other causes as well other than LGBTQ rights who are fighting rather lonely battles. So somewhere there's an immense need for people to join hands, at least the causes that are fighting lonely battles. So that is all that I would add on to what is.
I think overall there is a need to join hands. I think it's my very personal feeling, but yeah, that's like something with Nihal. We would love to hear from you. Your work is so different from the rest. So let's hear what are the challenges you have faced.
I think we discussed all the common challenges that everyone is facing. So
much.
there's no point, going
No,
back to
there
them.
isn't.
But what I feel is, this one thing that can address to all the problems is networking. From what Kalpesh ji had mentioned, before that they went to for the cause, and there was another organization just after a while, and it was just nearby. So just in case if they have made before, it would have saved a lot of resources, funds, and effort. So I feel that through networking, you can get right people. It's not easy, but if we keep trying, we can get the right people that we need and the right help that we need.
True. No, I agree. Networking seems to be something that I think all NGOs overall, and policy, there needs to be a policy change, I feel, also in terms of, I don't know if that will really push it, but somewhere I think that should bring in a change. But networking, yes, I think is very important. Mr. Anthony, you've been there for so many years now. I think 40 years, you said. So you must have seen a lot of change. And how has it been over the years for you?
The past 2 decades, we have a serious problem because leprosy has gone off the radar of the health policy. It is most neglected among the neglected diseases. It is India is answerable for 50% of new cases detected in the world. 150,000 patients are detected annually. every year. And out of this, 10,000 to 40,000 people from children to adolescents move to adulthood and develop disability. Disability is a great thing. For example, polio, we have been fighting because it is a disgrace, it is not needed to have a disability on account of polio. But for leprosy, it is a very silent thing. Every year we are adding 10,000 to 40,000 patients out of this 150,000 new cases added every year into disability of one kind or other. They face social stigma. They eventually deteriorate in terms of disability. Then, when it deteriorates very badly, they are left to destitution. And in terms of economic deprivation on the family level, this is a very hidden issue, problem which we are continuing to fight. We would like to bring our challenge is visibility. Our challenge is to bring it to the concerted effort of the country in terms of everyone who is involved in health has to be public health mostly, and the NGOs which have been working in the first 3 decades very successfully have to be brought to the fore again with enough support, enough acceleration to fight for against disability of children, adults, and the disability among women is worse because they have to manage the family. The discrimination is also very severe. So this is what we would like to flag in this discussion as our major challenge and concern is disability among children due to leprosy, disability among women due to leprosy, and it goes unnoticed. We have annual addition to this disability burden, which is socially stigmatized and neglected.
So what
Further
you're
questions I
saying
will
is
take.
overall that issues fall off the radar, if I'm
Yes,
understanding it correctly, right? And
yes.
I'm really concerned about that because now with COVID, itna COVID ko, I mean, I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying COVID should not get the kind of attention it has gotten. But somewhere I also feel because of that, maybe a lot of other issues similar, as you're saying, have gotten off radar. So how do you think that will go ahead from here? Would it has it affected your work in the last 1 year? Has anything changed?
No, it has affected terribly because among the poorest are our patients. The new case detection is delayed, so deformity. This is a vicious circle. When they are delayed detection, there is deformity. The deformity leads to social stigmatization. And it is stigmatized in the family and the community and the village. Then they become dependent or they have to be, actually, it is easy to cure because we have modern drugs. It is easy to identify early disability if proper physiotherapy centers and doctors are attuned to that. Correction is possible, and community need to be educated. All this is is gone from priority list. We want to bring it to the priority list.
That
Some of us, in the banner of Goodbye Leprosy, getting together to bring more visibility to this sector in terms of concerns and in terms of resources.
So visibility seems to be a common concern, right? That's what I'm getting from the discussion. Um, how does one really get down to making ourselves visible? Any thoughts on that, anybody? दीपा आपको क्या लगता है? हाँ, आपने 14 साल हो गए ना आपकी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को. 14 साल में आपको लगता है आपको विजिबिलिटी मिली है, आपके कॉज को विजिबिलिटी मिली है?
एक्चुअली विजिबिलिटी जो है ना वो सोशल हायरार्की के ऊपर भी बहुत ज्यादा डिपेंड है. कि एनजीओ के अंदर भी हायरार्कीज है कि आप कौन से मुद्दे सामने लेके जाते हो, कौन मुद्दे सामने लेके जा रहा है। तो जिस बैकग्राउंड से मैं आती हूँ या जिस बैकग्राउंड के मुद्दे हम उठाते हैं, मुझे थोड़ी कड़वाहटी है कि उस तरह की विजिबिलिटी नहीं मिल पाती है। उसका कारण मुझे एक ये भी लगता है कि क्या हम सामाजिक संगठनों को, गवर्नमेंट हो या डिसीजन मेकर हो, क्या ये स्टेक होल्डर समझते हैं? क्या हम स्टेक होल्डर है? जिस तरह के बाकी के स्टेक होल्डर्स को हम एक इम्पोर्टेंस देते हैं, उस तरह से एनजीओ को आप अगर देखो तो ड्यूरिंग कोरोना भी एनजीओ ने बहुत ज्यादा काम किए हैं, लेकिन उस तरह से स्टेक होल्डर को स्टेक होल्डर करके रिकॉग्नाइज हमें नहीं किया जाता है। तो वहां से ही मे भी शुरुआत होगी। मुझे लगता है कि विजिबिलिटी एक हायरार्की से आती है, और वो हायरार्की के ऊपर काम करना बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है। तो उस तबके में कई सारे ऐसे ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस है, जिस तरह से हमारे साथी जो हमसफर से है, उनके एक मुद्दे जो है एक माइनॉरिटीज के है, और भी कई ऐसे मुद्दे जो है जो ग्राउंड और जमीन के अंदर दबे हुए हैं। वो हायरार्की के ऊपर अगर उस तरह की एक विल तैयार हो, जो डिसीजन मेकर्स की विल है, जो फाइनेंशियल सपोर्ट और पिलर तैयार करने वालों का एक जो है क्राउड है, वहां से अगर वो मानसिकता आए, वो विचारधारा आए, तो वो रूट तक पहुंचने के लिए काफी काम में आएगा। विजिबिलिटी हम जाके अपनी कितनी करें, उसके लिए एक सेटल वे जो है वो निर्माण करने की बहुत ज्यादा जरूरत है। जिस तरह से आप अगर कहो तो मेरा टेक्नोलॉजी और लैंग्वेज की वजह से कई बार मुझे बैरियर फील होते हैं, राइट। मुझे कितना ज्यादा रिसोर्स क्रिएट करना पड़ता होगा एक कंपटीशन ऑफ एनजीओ में अपने आप को साबित करने के लिए, राइट। तो विजिबिलिटी के लिए एक इक्विटी का एस्पेक्ट होना बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है।
True, very true. I think that somewhere at aidbees we are trying to do that work. We are hoping to be able to pick that up. So with aidbees, that's something I don't know if you might have realized by now कि एक कोशिश है हमारी कि एनजीओज को विजिबल कर सके, कॉज को नहीं। जैसे आपने आप में से कुछ ने बोला भी कि कॉज फंडिंग हमेशा काम नहीं आती है। अगेन आई थिंक दीपा ने बोला एंड इसके लिए पूरा एनजीओ कई बार, जिसको हम नॉर्मली जनरल फंडिंग भी बोलते हैं, जिसमें जनरल फंडिंग की जरूरत है ताकि हर एक चीज प्रोजेक्ट बेस पे ना हो, हर एक चीज को प्रोजेक्ट में नहीं डाला जा सकता है। तो इसलिए कई बार नहीं, बहुत बार, आई मीन आई नो, हम अपने काम में मुझे पता है कितनी बार जरूरत पड़ती है पैसा, और उसको मैनेज करने में ही इतना टाइम लग जाता है, एक प्रोजेक्ट का पैसा इधर उधर। आई मीन आई थिंक एट टाइम्स एनजीओ का टाइम उसी में निकल जाता है कि कहाँ से पैसा जुड़ा पाए ताकि वो काम हो सके। और कई बार पैसा होके भी कुछ जो फॉर्चुनेट एनजीओज हैं, उनके पास अगर पैसा होता भी है, क्योंकि वो प्रोजेक्ट में बंधा रहता है पैसा, वो हिला नहीं पाते हैं। तो इसलिए आई थिंक एज यू सेड कि जनरल फंडिंग की काफी जरूरत है, और काफी बढ़ाव, पूरी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को बढ़ाव देने की जरूरत है। ओवरऑल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को प्रोजेक्ट करना बहुत जरूरी है।
But CSR can,
हाँ
sorry,
सॉरी,
but
हाँ तानिया प्लीज बोले।
a CSR, that's where the problem is again.
Correct,
The
yeah.
CSR funding may not in many of the corporations allow you to do something like that. A small
Yes.
thing is a small thing in terms of even creating a budget and sending it to them for funding. They invariably get back to you to say, "आप salary क्यों दे रहे हो?"
I
मतलब
know.
salary component बता
I
दीजिए,
think
हम
as
budget based पैसे दें।
heads of organizations, we've all gone through this कि salary कहाँ से दे।
थिंग इज कि हम एक एजुकेशन का प्रोजेक्ट दे रहे हैं, तो उसमें स्टाफ तो होगा भाई, हमने तो टीचर को तो देना ही है, वो फ्री में। वी कैन नॉट रन एवरीथिंग ऑन वॉलंटरी बेस। तो अब तो वी हैव लाइक अ फ्यू पीपल हु वी नोन फॉर द लास्ट 20-25 years, they'll pick up the phone and they'll tell us now कि भाई सैलरी दिखाना है, सैलरी दिखा रहे हो तो तुम इतने % से आगे मत बढ़ना। So part
I'm
payment.
sorry, I'm laughing, but this is so close to my heart.
No, I
because
know.
I have had nightmares over this, trying to
I
figure
go
funding out.
So I look after fundraising, so I know. So I'm cutting
Same here.
salaries and I'm trying to show from one to the other. Now we've even derived. We do not use the word salary in many
Yeah.
proposals. But उसको हमने staff को हमने caregiver दिया हुआ है नाम। भैया we have 350 to between 350 400 children who live with us. तो हमारे कुछ staff day and night तो चाहिए. तो कोई हमें पूछता है कि भैया security का क्या मतलब है? अरे भाई बच्चे घर उधर हैं. We have to have somebody at the gate or a night staff or things. So it's one into the other. You know what I mean? मतलब
No, bilkul. Of course.
So even like what she said, when you said about resource, even if an NGO has that resource, to come into to be visible, you have to spend that amount to become visible. And you don't want to do that. You have that limited fund and you hang on to it for your work.
Correct. No, I agree. Yeah, बहुत मुश्किल होता है फंड को डाइवर्ट करना विजिबिलिटी के लिए, अपनी मार्केटिंग करने के लिए. इट्स वेरी टफ एंड honestly at times you don't feel good about it. At least that used to be my concern at times कि should I do it, not do it, कैसे करें. And I think that was always a nightmare.
General fund तो बहुत ही limited मिलता है. Like if you want somebody to just give you general fund कि भाई ये हमने करना है, that I mean it's accountable. We will be transparent with it. But let's put it for general fund. But वो बहुत rare होता है. So what we have discovered that this general fund that we need, we try and raise from individual donors.
Donors, correct.
Or from crowdfunding portals. Things like that. Not come to CSR or not come to big corporations for that.
We're almost at the end, and it's been a great discussion. We still have 10 minutes. So
I would like to...
Yes, please. Sorry, who's that?
No, Anthony.
Anthony, sorry. Yes, please.
I would like to add on to the discussion about the general fund, and I agree with all of them. Yeah. All the points which they raised is more appropriate. Okay. I just also want to say whether the aidbees will take up cause-oriented communication and campaign.
I was just going to end with that. So you've made my work easy. So I'll just answer your question quickly. We are not doing cause-based work. Definitely aidbees, as I said earlier, or kafi baar I've spoken about this. I think Bhagyashree has also tried to communicate this a lot of times with you. Hamari koshish hai that we try and stick with NGO project, not look at project. We want to stick with the NGO. We want to bring the NGO together. So that's why in fact कई बार discussions भी होती हैं, लेकिन फिर आप funds कैसे raise करोगे? But उसमें हमारा यही debate है that if I today take funding for a project for anybody, फिर वो उसी दायरे में आ जाएगा. Again, it will be the same thing. So we are encouraging people, if our donors, our users, we call them users, to look at organizations holistically. And इसलिए हम लोग बहुत बड़े funds, we are not, all of you are aware of it, we are not looking at large fundings. Of course, we are not going to turn down any large funding. But when we are looking at aidbees, we are trying to promote a system where people want to donate, want to contribute, whether it's money, it's their time, it's their effort on a regular basis. तो अगर वो 300-400 रुपए भी महीना देता है कोई, तो वो सालों के साल दे, for years together, rather than कि एक बार उसने वो 5,000 दिया and then you don't see the end of, you don't see them ever again. We are trying to change that. We want to create a system where people and any age group, we say at any age group and any amount. So these are the two things which we are trying to work with. कि donations कहीं भी हो सकती है, किसी टाइम पे भी हो सकती है, उसके लिए एक कॉज की जरूरत नहीं है. आज अगर I feel today while I'm sitting in Starbucks and drinking my coffee, if I feel no, I should not drink this coffee, maybe this coffee of mine will do something good for somebody, I should be able to connect with an NGO of my choice and be able to donate to them. And that's our biggest thing with aidbees. Try small donations, but on a constant basis. If people are able to do it regularly, so that the NGO has that I won't call it guarantee. I'm not giving you a guarantee, but I'm hoping we come to a place where people can systematically continue giving donations, smaller, but over a longer period of time. And definitely not project based. We do not encourage project based. But Mr. Anthony, if somebody wants to support an NGO for a certain cause, I don't think you would want to say no to them also. So I'm saying if tomorrow somebody comes to you and says, Ki, I want to support only children's leprosy, I would not say no to them. I would say, please go ahead. But yes, I would overall say general funding. So as I said, I was going to end this with it saying that what are your expectations from aidbees and how do you think considering you've seen our platform now, I hope most of you have been on it. आपने देखा है कैसा है, website कैसी है. अभी काफी issues हैं website में. I'm going to be very honest about it, and we are trying to rectify them. But you've seen it overall. So we are trying to main जो 2-3 चीजें हैं, visibility is something which is very important to us. We are trying to make every organization or our platform very visible. But definitely we will need our partners' help. We will need thoda sa, once a week, twice a week. If you people, if the organization could post something on it, आपका क्या काम हो रहा है, anything new in your organization, we have space for volunteers. As somebody said, volunteers की demand, and as we say, it's not खाली लोग आके बांट दें कुछ या किसी चीज में हेल्प कर दें, बट लाइक वेबसाइट, दीपा जैसे आप कह रहे थे, looking at things like website develop karna, legal papers, compliance lists, all, there are enough people who want to do this. See, for people this is easier क्योंकि वो घर बैठ के हफ्ते में 2 घंटे काम कर सकते हैं. They don't have to move anywhere. And it's also for them something, जो एक lawyer है वो रोजमर्रा अपना ये काम करता ही है. For him or her, it's easy to do this for an NGO rather than go there physically and then, चीजें बांटो ये करो. A lot of people don't want to do that, but they do want to do that skill-based work, and they're more than happy to do it. So I would encourage everybody to be more active on the website, to be very honest, because that's the only way we can go ahead with it. The more activity we see from all of you, I know I'm asking you a lot of work, but a little bit of interaction from your side, I'm hoping we can go a long way with it.
Thank you so much, Zamruda. We are definitely, जैसे I think दीपा ने जो भी बोला है वो काफी मतलब एकदम स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड चीजें बताई जो प्रॉब्लम्स जैसे फेस करते हैं. But visibility के लिए, I think the most important platform is even today the social media, wherein you have to show your work every now and then what you're doing. I mean, this is one thing कि जहाँ पे आजकल लोग वो जगहों पे जाके मतलब एक एनजीओ को रिसर्च कर सकते हैं कि भाई क्या इनकी एक्टिविटीज हो रही है, what kind of language they are using. So this professionalism is indeed much needed to be accepted by the more educative community कि वे जो समझते हैं what language he is using, कि कैसे language में draft किया है. So it is equally very important to increase your visibility.
No, it is. It's very important. Just 1 second, Tanya. If you are in a rush, it's okay. You can leave. I know we're at the end of our time, but others, please stay on. We can continue with the discussion as everybody feels. But Tanya, if you're wanting, Tanya, you're on mute. We can't hear you.
Yeah, sorry. I just had one thing to completely agree
please
on.
Do that, please.
Social media. We were actually really, really backward in this line of social media. But in the last couple of years, say last 2.5 years, we tried to just work a lot on our Facebook and on, or Instagram and things like that. And yes, I do see a lot of fruit in that, especially during the COVID times. We did a fundraiser through Facebook during the lockdown, and we did receive, we did receive funding. We got responses, and how we could help. How people, the volunteers, could come in and help and things like that. So yes, I agree that there is that special, that certain type of language or that research that people do through social media. It does have a positive,
No, true. I mean, aaj ki date mein anybody wants to see or find about anybody, the first thing they will do is
Absolutely.
go on your Facebook or your Instagram page, and it is a need to be visible there. And we are hoping next would be aidbees, and that they would come to aidbees page.
Yeah,
So that's why I'm saying, please be a little
sure.
active on it.
Okay.
So, Mr. Kalpesh, yeah, so skill-based volunteering, honestly, when we started, so again, it's something very dear to me, because when I used to work, I mean, I still work, but specifically when I was working with NGOs, हमारा हमेशा यही प्रॉब्लम रहती थी कि ये पेपर पूरे नहीं हुए, वो एक फोटोग्राफर चाहिए, ये चाहिए, एंड वी हैड नोवेयर टू लुक, एंड ऑफ कोर्स रिसोर्सेज थे, इन चीजों के लिए तो मिलते ही नहीं है, यू डोंट हैव रिसोर्सेज फॉर दीज थिंग्स, सो यू आर ऑलवेज डिपेंडेंट ऑन अ वॉलंटियर और on yourself and your staff, and it's not always possible to depend on staff so much. I still remember days when I started, when I was out of college, and अगर कोई कॉन्फ्रेंस होती थी तो फ्रॉम मेकिंग, उन दिनों में तो हैंडमेड पोस्टर्स होते थे, फ्रॉम मेकिंग पोस्टर्स टू कवरिंग थिंग्स टू यू नेम इट, the entire organization used to do it. कोई outsourcing नहीं होती थी. I'm sure अभी भी grassroots में होता है. But I'm talking of Delhi. We were in Delhi, and I mean, we were in Delhi in one of our better organizations. But क्योंकि नहीं होती थी funding, तब भी नहीं होती थी, आज भी नहीं है. इन चीजों के लिए funding नहीं होती है. So you would we used to end up working till 12, 1 in the night, just doing क्या कि कल कॉन्फ्रेंस है, कॉन्फ्रेंस के लिए गिफ्ट्स रैप हो रहे हैं, कॉन्फ्रेंस के लिए सोवेनियर्स रैप, all of that we used to do ourselves. So I've been through that journey, and that's why I feel volunteering is so important for an NGO, and skill-based volunteering is very important. So Deepa, you were trying to say something, I think.
I just have one
Pardon,
last
Shweta, yes.
point. I'll have to rush basically.
No worries. We think we should wrap up.
Regarding aidbees and the kind of and skirting around the topic of visibility, I just have one suggestion.
Yes,
Because you are bringing together NGOs from several such diverse sectors. If we can have similar events around exploring the intersectionality between different sectors. For example, I'll give you a very simple example. If my cause and Deepa's cause are kind of wherever the intersectionality exists, and if we get on a platform and where we talk to each other, where we know that these are the issues, these are the points where we can collaborate, I think it will be a visibility of each other's causes in our respective sectors as well. I know there are several organizations, several community organizations who face exactly the same issues that Deepa faces in terms of the inability to talk in a language that funders understand. And I feel there is a lot of synergy that's possible. So I feel aidbees is a wonderful I think a platform where the synergy can be brought out. So that's all that I wanted to.
That's such a good feedback, Shweta. Thank you so much for that. And I would encourage you to take that on with us. Please hound us for it, because we do plan to do similar stuff. We do plan to have. So I know already we have another talk tomorrow. And tomorrow's talk is going to be very interesting because it's with the youth. And the age group is literally from 18 to 30. When I would call them children, when they start working and how they are taking on, literally. I mean, it's interesting to see some of their work. And then Women's Day is coming up. So we have another event planned on that. But these, of course, right now we are taking small steps, trying to, figure our way out also. But yes, at any point in time, if you feel, as I said, please contact us. We would really love to do such kind of things, and it's a great idea. I think I should tell my team to really look into it.
Definitely, definitely.
Thank you so much, Shweta. I don't know how everybody is for time. I have lots of time, but I think we are coming to the end. I think everybody has appointments and need to go. Uh, any last words? Anything anybody wants to say? 2 minutes, and then we can wrap up.
Yeah, so it was very great to at least introducing to each one of us and knowing each other more, and we should maybe start keeping in connect with each other on these causes. And thank you for bringing this up. And I'm sure like we have a long way to go. In fact, it is also a startup what you are doing, and we are definitely connected. We will also ensure that we keep you tagging over the social media wherever wherever you are, and then we definitely look out for the long term cooperation.
No, it's about visibility, as we said. Networking and visibility is the only way forward, I think, right now, and that's something we all have to. Nihal, anything from you? We haven't heard much from you.
No points from me, but I guess we have addressed what was important that we have, got it out there. So, yeah.
Thank you so much.
I have a message
yes,
for
Mr. Anthony.
Nehal.
Yeah, please.
Nehal, we have a footwear unit, specially called microcellular rubber footwear unit for leprosy affected persons, which is also useful for diabetic patients. We have the unit at Vikroli. The workshop is at Vikroli, and we supply for all NGOs, including government orders. We give at cost price because for insensitive foot and hand, which is the result of the disability for patients. That's one thing that we like to look at what you are doing in New Bombay, isn't it?
Right.
New Bombay. And welcome. We invite you to visit our Vikroli Center, our footwear unit. And anyone can visit also, because it's a common thing for diabetic foot care. It is available and can link up. I like this one word about synergy. Actually, beyond this exchange, which is very good, you have to have some medium of communicating with Shweta or Deepa or Kalpesh. We need to have something, otherwise we may meet after 5 years in another webinar and say that we met.
I can tell you, all of you must log into aidbees and get connected through aidbees.
Yeah, right.
No, it's true.
No, that is one way that the visibility we are seeking out for leprosy is one way, because we need spokespersons for our cause. That's my last word for you.
Thank you so much. Let me just thank everybody. And Shweta, you saw Mr. Anthony and Nehal. I think they're going to get together soon. I hope so. Thank you, everybody. It was great having you all here. Thank you for the time. Sorry, we overshot the time. I'm not sure even how much, but yes, we did. But I think the discussion was so interesting, and I'm glad that we did this on the NGO day. And I think we need to continue. We need to make a habit of this. And Shweta, definitely, I think we will take up your idea and continue with it. It's very encouraging for us to know that there is space for this. There is a need for this. So yes, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Deepa. Sorry, I see your child is, I think, waiting for you. Thank you, everybody.
Do
stay in touch over aidbees. It will be great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.